Yes, we are live. Yeah, don't mind my voice this evening. This live, we are here. We are doing it. Yeah. Okay. So this evening, we'll be talking about children mental health. I'm starting a bit early. I will need you to remind those who are meant to be in this meeting to start coming. But we started early today because we're going to talk about a matter of concern, an important topic that affects the family, affects children, and affects parents at the long run. This week is children's mental health, and the theme for this year is building emotionally secured children, if I still remember. And in today's discussion, we'll be talking about practical strategies to raise mentally healthy children. I work in a mental health setting, so I'll be giving you practical experiences. And I must plead with us to take everything we'll be talking about today as a serious matter. The truth is that if we are able to see the effect and the impact of what our children go through today, either in the name of in the family that parents are not even aware, traumatic experiences children go through both at home and outside the home, if we are able to reflect and pay attention, we will be able to get a lot of the children that are suffering today delivered. We would have saved a lot of children from the mental health issues and traumatic experiences they go through. The children mental health does not start in a therapist office. It starts in our homes. But unfortunately, some of us does not understand that the day-to-day engagement, the daily activities we have with our children affect their mind and even their psyche. Thank you for joining me this night. You are welcome. This week is about children mental health. And like I said, being a mental health nurse, I'll be talking based on my experience and hoping that we'll be able to learn from one or two things. So when you come to our setting, you will see children who are suffering mentally. And then it's difficult for you to understand the beginning of their problem. Sometimes we call them as behavioral disordered, but most of them are going through what we call post-traumatic syndrome experiences. I've taken my time to really reflect and review most of the cases we have. About 80% of them are always traceable to their developmental stage, to their childhood, to the family. Of course, I'm not here to judge or say parents are not doing their work. It's not true. The problem is that it's either parents are overdoing it or the parents are overwhelmed. For example, you have parents who would normally need support, isn't it? And the truth is that child rearing or nurturing is not meant to be done alone. If it's in Africa, where we come from, we do community parenting. When we were growing up, is either your sister or your brother comes around, or your niece or your nephew comes around. You see a family that has cousins coming to support, either to cook, to sweep, to wash. For us as Africans, it's normal. But what we do not realize is that sometimes these exposures are not healthy for our children. So you see children being abused by their relative, and parents are not sensitive enough to pick it early. Thank you, Real Love from UK. Thank you. Streaming from UK. Thank you for joining us. So parents are not sensitive or allowed to pick that their children or their child is being abused by their own relative. Then we grew up in a place where even if a child says something to a parent would want to rather preserve their name rather than confronting the situation, rather than rebuking or confronting whoever has committed such crime against their own children, so that they will save their family names. So, in practical experiences, I've seen children who were abused by their own parents, sexually, physically, emotionally, mentally. I've seen children who have to self-harm as a means of coping, because growing up, they have grown up to feel they are worthless. They have grown up to feel that what they deserve is punishment. They are good for nothing. So remember, we are talking of raising mentally healthy children. You know, I see people saying this generation, every little thing, they will say mental health. If you work in a mental health setting, you will understand better. But that will depend on where you are coming from. Because where you are coming from as an African, most mental health disturbances are not detected early. In fact, sometimes we don't even see it as a mental health disorder, but that's what they are. So you see children who grew up not being able to cope, not being able to fight for themselves, not being able to live a holistic life. You see children who grew up becoming drug addicts. There's something we call dual diagnosis. Dual diagnosis is where you have drug or alcohol use in collaboration with mental health disorder. So most of the children we see growing up and becoming cannabis users, drug users, alcohol abusers, most of them entered into those addictions due to seeking for sense of belonging, seeking to fill a void that was created by parents. So when we raise children who are emotionally distanced from us, they will always seek to fill that emotional gap. And do you know who they will go for? Their peers who does not know better than them. That's why it is very dangerous to raise children and you are focusing more on their academics, feeding, shelter, and the things people will always see. Why adults are celebrating Lovers' Day? Do you wonder why the world is celebrating children's mental health? Because while you are busy loving and doving, children are busy suffering emotional emptiness, suffering lack of affection, suffering sense of worthlessness, because they don't feel loved enough. If you listen to me a lot, you will hear me say, fill the love tank of your children. Overwhelm them with your love. When people say, gentle parenting will corrupt children, no. Nobody says gentle parenting means lack of discipline. You can discipline in love. That's what the Bible says. You can be firm. You can be strict, if you want to use that word. But you can still be full of love and compassion. If you must raise mentally healthy children, you must raise them with love and compassion. You must raise them with kindness. Don't create an atmosphere where your children struggle to feel loved. Some of us, we make love conditional. If you behave well, I will show you love, we will smile. But if you misbehave, we'll frown our face, we shout, we hit and all that. No. You are telling your child, you have to earn my love. And that shouldn't be. For a child, love should be part of his life. Part of a child's life should be love. Love should not be sold to children. It should not become a bet where you have to win it by what you do. If not, you will raise children who will grow up all their life seeking to prove themselves in order to gain love. And do you know what you are doing? Thank you, Samuel. What you are doing is you are positioning your children to grow up pushing and forcing themselves on people to love them. Living all their life trying to prove to people that they are good enough and they should be loved. And you know, growing up, those who try to push themselves on you, you never love them enough, especially if you're a lady. If you're a lady and you have a man who is always trying to do everything to get your attention and to love you, it's difficult for you to love that person. And I'm sure it also applies to men. That's why men don't like women toasting them. Generally, most men will want to be the ones to decide you are good enough for me and propose. And not the person who want to impress them, who want to compromise to get them to love them. What most men will do is to want to take advantage of that girl because they feel she's vulnerable and she can do anything to get that acceptance. And that's how we raise children who will be put in that position that men will want to abuse. So if you want to raise children who are mentally okay, mentally stable and healthy, you must create a home where your children feel they are loved enough for who they are and not for what they do. You must raise a home where your children feel safe. Most times, there are unspoken questions that your children ask every day. Like, am I safe here? Is in their subconsciousness. Children thrive where they feel safe. They blossom. They have full expression. They build their creativity. They try things without restriction because they've been allowed to be themselves and be loved that way. You will struggle with children who doubt your love. But when your child feels, oh, this place is safe, I'm loved the way I am, watch that child. Will they be free of error? No. But you will be able to guide them in love. And they are easily able to learn when they feel loved. So when you are raising children, can I ask that we begin to pay more attention to loving them for who they are, the way they are, before trying to change them? And the truth is that most of us feel we are successful parents when we are able to control their action. Go here, they go there. Sit down, they sit down. Jump, they jump. Lie down, they lie down. You will not raise children who are mentally okay if you are targeting that. Do you know why? These children, when they go out, they cannot stand for themselves. They will not think for themselves. They will wait for instructions to be able to act. And when opportunities come for them to respond to, they will doubt their own capacity to make reasonable decisions because they have grown up depending on you consistently to make decisions for them. So we must raise a home where children are emotionally secure, which cannot happen automatically. It has to take an emotionally intelligent parent. You have to build it intentionally, repeatedly, consistently, until it registers in the heart and the mind of your children. And tonight we'll be having our discussions based on scientific evidences and practical experiences and scenes, and how we can react or respond in situations that will help our children feel emotionally secured in order to grow up mentally healthy. Okay? So emotional security is the foundation of psychological resilience. If you must raise children who will be resilient, who will be able to fight for themselves, who will be able to and be able to trash things out, not give up on things, not compromise, not choose to die instead of fighting for their lives, you must lay a foundation where your children are psychically and mentally secured within the home front. The first 0 to 5 years is the basic foundation you must not take for granted. That is when to raise children who feel emotionally and psychologically safe within the home space. That is where you build trust, that your children can count on you. They know if anything happens, mommy and daddy has my back. So when your child does something and is crying, that's not the time to start shouting on them and correcting them. What they need is to be sure, okay, even if I've messed up, mommy is still beside me. Daddy is here to protect me. Even if you don't have the confidence to tell them sorry, let them ask them. You are not ignoring them. You are not pushing them away. You are not shouting. Let them know that you still care enough to stand by, to watch them. Okay? So, a research has shown that children who experience consistent emotional responsiveness develop stronger stress regulation system and healthier self-concept, which is important. If your child is able to build a healthy self-concept, healthy self-perception, they are able to build confidence. They are able to build resilience. They are able to keep on one thing until they achieve it. They are able to fight till the end. That's where we talk about resilience. So, I was talking to you about working in a mental health setting, right? Most of the children you see that want to give up or say, I'm going to die, or that keep self-harming or tying ligature or trying to hurt themselves, you could trace their experiences to why growing up. I've had several conversations, and you will hear, why do you always want to kill yourself, self-harm and all that? And you say, when I was growing up, if I cry, my father, my mother, or my guardian will not bother until I try to do something harder to prove to them that I was going to end it all. So because that was what catches the attention of the guardian or the parents, you see those children growing up believing that is the only way to get attention. It becomes their coping mechanism. So you are wondering why this is repetitive. Is what has worked, because no parent will watch their child want to tie ligature and not respond. But do you have to allow your children to come to the point of doing things in order to get your attention? And one thing we must register in our subconsciousness is that children must always seek attention. And that attention does not matter how. You know, negative attention is better than no attention. So if a child does something and you don't pay attention, my daughter, as young as she is, will say, Mommy, look at me. Mommy, look at me. That's food for them. They want you to raise your face and they want to be sure that they are as important as catching your attention as that your phone and other things you are doing. That's how important attention is to children. And that's why children can do anything to get your attention. So if you must raise children who will be resilient in life, who will not want to die because life is frustrating them, who will not compromise their standard because things are not going their way, you must build an emotionally secured home for these children. And it's not a rocket science. It's just understanding of the nitty-gritty things, the daily things you do intentionally to help your children have that sense of self-worth, acceptance, love, unconditional love. So how do we build emotionally secured home? Create a predictable emotional response. Can your children say, this is what my mommy will do, this is what my daddy will do when something goes wrong or when something happens? If there is a structure that says, when you do this, this is what is obtainable, your children already know what to accept or what to expect. But when you overreact, when you do things spontaneously, you even react more than the situation, your children will be scared of opening up. You will raise children who are anxious and fearful. So anxiety is another mental health disorder that we don't even pick early. So you see children who are scared, anxious because of mistake, they will grow up hiding things from you. They will grow up living a double life. So I know you want to be the boss man, you want to be the boss woman, you want your children to know this is not acceptable in my house and all that. Please keep it up. But what we are saying is, if you raise children under that condition, you will raise children who will be anxious, who will suffer anxiety disorder. You will raise children who will hide things from you. In other words, they will not feel emotionally secured in your home. You will raise children who have a high possibility of yielding to peer pressure, because that's where they will feel safer. And what we don't understand is that the world system makes their offer so palatable and make our children feel that they are the ones that have that love in quantum for them, rather than you, who is trying to be very restrictive and bossy. Are we saying you should not put discipline and structures in place? No. The approach is very important. Your love for your children must be unconditional, must be felt. Your children should feel more loved within the home system than outside. And it's your duty to do whatever it is to make sure they are captivated in your love. Let your home be full of love and peace, that your children, even when they commit crime or when they make mistake, instead of running to an outside arm, they will rather run to your arm, because they have that sense of security. So research in developmental psychology shows, like we said, predictability reduces cortisol spike in children during stress. And what are the things that can stress children? Mistake. When a child makes mistake, they will be stressed mentally, thinking what will be the consequence. So sometimes when we're already punishing our children, they are already punished. So when the first thing we do is to punish, instead of doing reflective moment with this child to be able to retrace where things went wrong and how to make it better, you are subjecting this child to stress, high cortisol, that stresses the brain. And in defensive mode, your child will naturally want to run away from such stress. That's when you see your child lie. So instead of saying the truth, they will lie to keep themselves safe. Am I justifying lying? No. But if we must learn the truth and know how to navigate around the truth, these are the truths. So your children will naturally avoid emotional swings. If you are that type that once something goes wrong, hey, you are everywhere. You are shouting. As you're coming back from this stressful work, you are everywhere. Hey, they've not watched it. What have you been doing? Why is everywhere scattered? Your children will rather want to be in their room playing video games than talking to you. So if we must help our children, what we should do is to avoid extreme emotional swings when we are disciplining our children. Create a calm atmosphere where your children knows that when they make mistake, we will sort it out. We will talk it through. We will find a way. Don't let them feel that their mistake is a death sentence. Respond to mistakes with guidance. not humiliation. Some of us, we humiliate our children in the name of discipline. I'm just even wowed by the kind of things I see on social media. That child will do something. Her mother, his mother will be recording it. And posting it on social media. For what? Like, do you ever ask, what will this child think when he grows up? Seeing his video on social media of his mistake. Do we call that content creation? Has discipline and correction become a social media matter now? Because even children will begin to think everything is content. And they will normalize the rubbish. So, if we must help our children, let's not overwhelm them with our emotion being everywhere. We should also keep our tone firm but calm. If your children are listening to you, it's not because of all your shouting. No. Your shouting can scare them. It can get their attention, but it will not retain their attention. So you can shout. They are not listening. Come, I'm not hearing you. They will answer you. But it will not retain your attention. Whatever you say at that moment will not be retained here or here. It will fly away. They only turned because you shouted, okay, say your thing. They will continue what they are doing. Have you wondered why you will beat a child? And as you are turning your back, that child is repeating that thing you did. You call it stubbornness. No, that child didn't pick that correction. What you just registered in that child is the pain you inflicted on that child. Because you either hit the not. You have not achieved what you wanted to achieve, and that is a change. And that change will not happen at once. All right? So you have to consistently teach, guide, direct for a child to be able to begin to reflect on a value, on a skill, on a virtue. Most with time, that pain, it will register in their mind, pain, and that thing they are doing, they will remember. No, they will only remember when you, that is the inflictor of that pain, is around. But those children, when you allow them away from your scrutiny, they will fly. They will do what they want to do. Even the same thing you beat them on. Because they've not learned. That's not how children learn. Children learn by repetition. And they learn better when they feel safe with you. So, how do we raise mentally healthy children? Make repair a family norm. What do I mean? Conflict is normal. Misunderstanding is normal. It doesn't break a home. Do you know what breaks home? Unrepaired, unhandled, or poorly handled conflict. That's what damages a marriage, a home. There's no home without challenges. It's not true. Studies have even shown that family system show that children who witness healthy conflict resolution develop stronger emotional intelligence and lower anxiety level. These children also have a power of negotiation. And this type of children are children that thrive in the society, at workplace. Because from the beginning, they've been taught how to dialogue their way, how to talk instead of shouting, instead of agitating, instead of using aggression. They're able to calm themselves, allow their brain to think, dialogue with whoever they are having misunderstanding with, instead of reacting. How many of us grew up to know that people who are dumb are usually aggressive? Do you know why? Frustration. They feel frustrated that they are not able to verbalize or say things to you the way you understand it. So that is their only way of getting across to tell you that they are not happy. But because you cannot hear their voice, they have to express it all over themselves for you to pick it. But that's why what most of us does. Like we are dumb people that are not able to talk to our children. So we shout all the time, like we have to shout for them to hear. No, we don't. I know children can be distracted a lot, but you're shouting. You don't have to shout for them to hear. You can tap them. You can turn them around to face you. You know why? When you keep shouting at your children and you normalize it, you are programming them to only respond at shouting. So when these children grow up getting used to being shouted at before they can respond, they find it difficult to focus and to pay attention to details, even outside, especially outside, because nobody will be shouting at you outside. In the workplace, nobody shouts at you. That's why you have people you are working with. If you don't shout and shout or repeat instruction, they will not pick it. It is a programming. And that's what I'm intentionally doing now with my children. Give instruction once and give them time to process it. If they don't respond, ask them, what did I say? You will say it, especially my first daughter will say, oh, mommy, I'm sorry, I didn't even hear you. But if you didn't know, you would have shouted again and again. But now you're creating awareness that when someone talks, try to listen. Don't wait for someone to shout before you hear. So if we must raise children who will be mentally sound, even in the society, we must learn to do constructive conversations, constructive dialoguing. Dialogue is not argument. It's not the same. Your children should be able to dialogue, talk themselves out, negotiate verbally by what they say, the way they reason logically, the way they're able to converse an intelligent way, the way they are able to even build confidence to face any authority, to face kings, to face governors, president of nations. But some of us, we don't even allow our children to raise their voice or talk to us. Oh, I'm talking and you're talking. Oh, the child was only trying to explain. Sometimes we ask our children questions, why did you... So I get asked you to do something and you didn't do it. For them to even explain, we are already shutting them down. This kind of children will struggle in their social life. They will struggle in their classes to speak up because they are used to being shut down by their own parents who are supposed to give them voice. So shouting and punishing to raise obedient children is not enough. If we must raise mentally healthy children, So Apologize clearly when you are wrong. Apologies is not only for the children. Dear mommy, dear daddy, when you go wrong, apologize. I think my battery is disturbing me. So, when you apologize, you're also teaching your children the best way to resolve conflict. You're helping your children become better life partners, husband and wife in the future. You see men and women who cannot say sorry. It's childhood trauma. Personally, me, when I was growing up, if I say sorry to my mommy or my daddy, they will say, sorry, Kegi, that's you, your own sorry. It became difficult for me to say sorry. Even when I got married, my husband would bear witness. It was difficult. One day I said sorry to my husband said, you, your own sorry. And I called him and told him that this traumatized me for a very long time, that it was difficult for me to say sorry. When I lived with my elder brother, and I would do something, him or his wife will confront me or rebuke me, I will not say sorry. In my heart, if I say sorry now, they will tell me sorry, your own sorry. Trauma. And that's what we do to our children. So you see children who struggle to communicate outside. It's trauma. We call it timidity, we call it shyness. It's not. It's trauma. Thank you. It's trauma. So we should not be the source through which our children are traumatized. Let's learn to say sorry. Let's normalize it. When we go wrong, we should be able to apologize. And we should model it. Let's explain emotions without blaming the child. So when the child does something and expresses themselves, call that child. Let them name their emotion. Okay, I understand. I understand you are trying to express something. Maybe you don't have the right word. Can you explain it? Let me help you. I think my network is a bit unstable. Sorry about that. You are helping this child to begin to name their emotion early, identify these emotions, and learn how to handle them. You telling a child, you can't get angry. You don't. Are you kidding me? Even the Bible said be angry, but sin not. You can't deny anger. It's a feeling. And every child must experience it. Even if you think you have grown to the level you don't get angry again, glory be to God on your behalf. But that is a child. They have not grown to the level of managing their emotion, and that is your duty, your responsibility to teach them to manage their emotions so that they don't allow their emotions to overwhelm them. So your child is angry. Okay, I think you are angry. Can we talk about it? This is the best way to say it. Mommy, I'm angry because of this. And we will talk about it. And if mommy is sorry, mommy will apologize. And if you are the one that is wrong, you will say sorry too. You are teaching this child life skills. So don't miss these opportunities of life skill to be shouting up and down and achieving nothing and raising unskilled children. Or saying you cannot be angry. He will, they can hide it from you. But you see those children who will throw things, who will throw tantrum, hit their head because they were not taught how to properly express their anger. They were subdued because the mommy or the daddy lack emotional intelligence. And that is me inviting you to our emotional intelligence challenge next week, where we'll be talking about emotional awareness, reactions, and how to handle our emotions as a family, as individuals, as parents, how to help our children begin to own their own emotion and manage it. Don't miss it. So, reconnect physically or verbally after tension. Some of us, we know how to bear grudge. Hey, You will quarrel with your husband or with your wife. You will not talk to them until how many days? Poor emotional intelligence. And sometimes we transfer it to our children. Some of us, our children will offend us. We will not talk to them throughout that day. Some of us will not even give them food. How many of us used to do that? Eh? You will punish your children and they will how do I put it? You will starve them because they committed a crime. The best way to reach to a heart of a child is softness, love, kindness. And if you are kind, you cannot starve your child. You can always find a way of resolving that problem, of getting across to them that this thing you've done is wrong. And I'm not saying there should be a consequence, but not denying them the essentials. Because one day your children will grow up and say, "Hi, yes, you will not give me food. I will go and order food." This is the generation of fast food. Order is everywhere. Even in your very presence, they will leave you and your food and make order and continue in their rebellion, in their error. You missed the gap to connect, to bond, and to correct. So, don't let tension linger in your home. Find a way to relax any form of tension, because it helps your children to thrive. So, this is us saying repair restores security faster than perfection. And I will keep telling everyone, no one is perfect, even you. Mommy, daddy, you want perfect children, but you're not perfect. So, extend grace to yourself and to your children. The way God keep extending grace to us. How else do we raise healthy, mentally healthy children? Strengthening secure attachment through presence. Dear parents, don't play with your presence. I didn't say present. Some of us are in the house, but we are not there. Women, sometimes you are just divided. You are everywhere. You just want to meet ends meet. You just want to cover everything except connection with your children. You want a sparkling house, a clean sink, food everywhere, but you strain your connection, your relationship, and secure attachment. You don't even bother about attachment. You are shouting, you are frustrated, you are tired, you are exhausted, you are doing everything all by yourself. You are shouting on your children, you are not helping me, I'm doing this, you are playing game. Why wouldn't they play game? Why, as you are cooking, you give them cocoa melon? You think is when they grow up, they will change. You started it early. Those of us that have adult children, we rescue them. Any reason we want to do things for them. You have to start early if you must raise responsible children, that you won't grow up being everywhere except being yourself. So as parents, whether a man, whether a woman, your presence is your children's security. A child will feel more secured when they know you are with them and you are for them. I remember one day, my child, I think this last Christmas, they had Christmas carol, and she was meant to do a presentation. So we are meant to come in the afternoon to the concert room. So when we got there, they haven't entered. But as we were seated down, they started entering. All the children were looking in the direction of the sitting area to look for their own parents. And most of them were not laughing until once you see, anyone you see smile, that person, that child has seen the parent. That's how all of them were looking until they, as you will see their face, as they were coming, their faces were straight. But as they were picking and sighting their parents, their faces begin to brighten. My daughter was busy looking. I had to raise my hand for her to see me, and she smiled. But there was this particular boy. He has glanced across. He couldn't see his parents. He started crying until the mom came from nowhere. Immediately, he stopped and started smiling. That's presence for you. Our children want to know that their presence is important to us enough that when they are in the same room, we know that they are there. So if you are the type that you are in the house, but your children can't feel your presence, you are not connecting, you are not reading with them, you are not chatting with them, you are not playing their toys with them, repent tonight. Because that sense of attachment is more valuable than you buying gift for them. Quality connection buffers stress, even for you. It relieves stress. All you need to do is reprogram your mind that no matter how stressed out I am at home, I will connect with my children at work. No matter how stressed you are at work, I will connect with my children when I come home. Do you know why? You are not meant to give all your best to people outside and then crumbs of bread or the leftover for your children. Because leftover are meant for the dogs. Even Jesus said to the woman that was asking, God, heal my daughter. God told her, you don't give the food meant for the children to the dog. The woman was the one saying, even crumbs. The dog can even eat crumbs. And that's what most of us give to our children, crumbs. We want to carry all the extra shift. We want to be everywhere for other people. We want to send people. Someone will call you, please come and do this for me. And you will leave your family and run. When the time you come, you are just your family is not the one carrying you. When you are supposed to use the stronger energy for them. I'm not giving them the crumbs, the leftover. So let's try. Sorry, I'll be making a bit of adjustments so I can charge my phone. We need to try and give the best portion to our family. Don't leave the leftovers for your children because they are the original owners of what God has put in you. I hope we are making sense tonight. So, I was talking to my husband the other day. Okay, I think we are celebrating a family that just gave birth. I just said, I'm sure my husband hasn't had that before. I just said, oh, thank God for this family, but I pity the older child. And he was surprised. Where is this one coming from? What kind of thing is this? So I tried to explain the attachment theory to him. But because of time, what I was trying to say was, even is a good news, we are happy. I'm sure this family is happy. But there will be that challenge of detachment from the first child because the gap wasn't much. And every child experiences that attachment syndrome. So you see a child, that has been cuddling, sucking from the mom's breast, and then suddenly someone else is coming to take that position. What do you think will happen? It will be a fight, oh. So this child was supposed to have been prepared ahead of time. And that requires ample time because she's still a child. She's not even up to 2 years, and you are disconnecting her so that another small part of you that she doesn't even know where it's coming from. It's coming to be sucking the breast that was meant for her. That's why if you're not careful, you see those two of the children having conflict. That if you don't take care of it early enough, they will grow up and you see siblings rivalry. I remember when I gave birth to a child, to the second child, what my first child will do is come and carry that one, go and drop, remove her from the cot, go and drop her on the other side of the bed. Do you understand? So it could present in different ways. So attachment theory confirms that children who experience reliable emotions or emotional availability shows better long-term mental health outcomes. So if you are not careful, your children can grow up feeling not valued or in competition with others, maybe siblings, or you allowed external families to come. They are always catching your attention and you don't even notice that your daughter is just there. So what we are saying is try to connect, bond with your children, offer undistracted listening, pay attention to your children. Even if it's briefly, you see that time when they are calling you, mommy, 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 forget all the other. I know you are busy. Even if you are on hold, tell them, sorry, excuse me, can you give me a moment? Turn, look them, turn. Let them know they can get your attention at any time. Turn to them and respond before looking away. It shows them their voice matters to you. It shows them that you are listening to them. Even you, if you're calling someone and the person is not listening to you, how do you feel? These children have feelings. Yes. They are human beings. They have feelings too. So let them know you listen to them. Give them your undivided attention. Don't be too busy for your children. Maintain eye contact during serious conversations. I read not up to 5 days, a research that says when you look people on their left eye, I don't know how true it is, during face-to-face conversation, it builds a better bond. I don't know how true it is, but they say it's a recent research. So try to connect eye to eye. Maintain eye contact when you're having conversation with your children. You're also teaching them the skill of looking at people and talking and not bending their face. Validate emotions before correcting behavior. Hey, dear parents, God will help us. Some of us, we are too quick. In fact, the first instinct is to start correcting, start preaching, start telling them what they've done is wrong. But the first thing that we need to do is first connect and validate their emotions. Let them know we understand what they are feeling or what they are going through, but still address that situation. Okay? So what are the practical ways to help your child feel safe and accepted? I usually tell people, sometimes our intentions are good, but the approach is what determines everything. So sometimes what we are thinking of, what we want to do is good, but the way we go about it spoils everything for us and our children. So how will you be able to help your children feel safe and feel accepted? Belonging directly impacts self-esteem and depression risk. So if your children have that sense of belonging, they will have high self-esteem. But when they doubt their sense of belonging around you, they will have low self-esteem. And it will also affect their depressive tendencies. So when you approach children who are always trying to kill themselves, tie ligature, cut themselves, most of them have low self-esteem. Most of them have history of detachment from their parents. Is it that the mom or dad separated, they have to be carried from their primary home to a foster home, or mommy carrying them to another husband's house. So we don't realize how this affects these children. School belonging studies shows that children who feel accepted at home are less vulnerable to peer rejection stress. I saw a post by a friend today, and she was like, we don't know what our children go through in school, especially those who live in diaspora. You don't know how they struggle with their color, head, the way they have been spoken to. We don't know the struggle they go through. Sometimes they cannot tell us, either due to the relationship we have with them, or they don't even know how to put it in words. But create an opportunity every day to make your child believe that they are the best version of themselves. Express it in your word, in your action. Don't be too critical that when they suffer in school and they come home, they are also struggling, they are suffering to be accepted by their own parents. Love them unconditionally, embrace them the way they are. But be intentional about grooming them and nurturing them and teaching them. But never be the instrument through which your children will always feel doubt over themselves. Because any child who cannot gain that sense of acceptance, approval, and belonging at home will do anything out there to get it. And the world is terribly wicked to take advantage of them. So the research is saying that children who feel accepted at home are less vulnerable to peer rejection stress. So when your child feels accepted, they are bold enough to fashion or challenge anyone out there. But when they doubt themselves in your home, they won't have the confidence to confront anyone or anything out there. They will subject themselves to peer pressure and